Now, in terms of your second question about nuclear energy does play a role in this, although it's somewhat obscure. And the reason why that is because there is a power shortage, basically a natural gas shortage that's occurring in the Gulf. And simply put, this should not be. I mean, because the Gulf region holds some of the largest natural gas reserves in the world. But because of this extremely low pricing, which Zuhair spoke about previously, is that it has not encouraged investment into the natural gas fields of the Gulf region. So many of the Gulf national oil companies do not have the requisite expertise in order to develop some of this complicated natural gas, which tends to be far afield and tends to be, let's say, offshore or whatnot. So they need to invite in international oil companies, but the international oil companies are not really willing to invest in many of these fields simply because it's not viewed as being profitable. So there's really no attractive return on investment because any gas that they produce will automatically go to the domestic market at extremely low prices. So that's a major issue. So in order to escape all this conundrum, which is faced by most of the Gulf countries, we see that they have attempted to encourage development of many different strategies in order to develop alternative energy, for instance. Let's say demand-side management for energy efficiency efforts, conservation campaigns have sprouted up all across the GCC, and nuclear energy is one aspect of this. Because actually, if you look at nuclear energy development in the UAE, it's actually going to be heavily subsidized. So if you look at the cost of production for natural gas within the UAE, which would be about $5 per MMBTU, with many of these new fields that should be coming on stream within 5 to 6 years. And if we look at how heavily subsidized the nuclear energy would have to be in order to simply get off the ground, the upfront capital costs. And we've seen in the U.S. the experiences during the 1980s where you had all these project cancellations with nuclear energy. So, I mean, what the Gulf, or what the UAE is going to do is actually just going to subsidize. It's just another way of subsidizing power for its populace. So it would actually be much more feasible if there were a type of increase in pricing. And when we talk about market pricing is a very difficult concept to enunciate in terms of the Gulf because there is no overall natural gas pricing, international natural gas price. It's quite segmented. I mean, so the Gulf, due to their comparative advantage of natural gas production, they would have much lower costs than, let's say, the UK, for instance, for producing natural gas. So that would also have to be considered. But in short, nuclear energy development in the Gulf, it is for the Gulf countries to, or is for the UAE in particular, to escape out of this natural gas shortage, and also to be able to conserve their natural gas for export as well, to be able to obtain additional revenue from it, because it's much more attractive to export it than to utilize it domestically, and also to, as a type of contribution to the international efforts to move away from these extremely carbon-intensive fuels.
Hi, my name is Barry Allen Reed. I'm calling for an international corp. My question to you is, you mentioned that United Arab Emirates has one of the largest carbon footprints in the area in the Gulf. What are they doing about it as far as trying to address that problem? Are they doing specifically anything with the investments of sustainable energy and also with research and development? Are they doing anything with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the Must-Start initiative is actually, let's say, the crown achievement of the Gulf, or of the UAE. Actually, it was about approximately $15 billion investment into developing this energy city, which is supposed to be zero carbon and zero waste city. And it's supposed to be a template for future urban development across the world. I mean, so that's quite a significant development, and they're still building this. And actually, just last week, the UAE signed an agreement with the Spanish solar company and also Total in order to develop the largest CSP plant, which is a concentrated solar power plant in the world, which is going to be built outside of Abu Dhabi. So the UAE is actually more ahead of the other Gulf countries if we look at it And so the UAE is undertaking several strategies. One is, of course, this Monster Initiative that I indicated. Another is there has been sustained, let's say, development of different strategies to encourage energy and environmental conservation and consciousness, let's say, amongst the populace. So there are several initiatives. One is called the Heroes of the UAE campaign. And the Heroes of the UAE campaign is this concerted advertising effort to get the Emirati citizens to be able to understand that energy does have a cost, even though they may not necessarily pay a very high cost for themselves, but it does have an externality, so it impacts the environment. There's also something that's been called, let's say, the environmental footprint, which would be the translation from Arabic. And this is more of an environmentally based campaign in order to get, let's say, UAE businesses and also end users as well to understand that there's been significant ecological damage that has been done to the UAE. So there have been many major efforts, but we also have to remember that these have been undertaken quite recently. So the UAE, if we take that as being, let's say, the first mover amongst the GCC countries, it has just started. I mean, so there has to be some time for these efforts to bear fruit. But there is a bit of, because of the federal structure of the UAE, sometimes there might be a bit of this concept that the left hand doesn't necessarily know what the right hand is doing and so on and so forth. So let's say if Dubai undertakes some type of initiative, Abu Dhabi may not necessarily do that. Sharjah may not do that, or Ajman may do something else. I mean, so the federal structure is also an issue that needs to be considered when we look at any type of Emirati environmental strategies.